Hello and welcome back to Scouting with Anthony, the show where the dirt is real, the trails are questionable, and the opinions are, well, mine. Today, we're taking a spin on the stretch of my local trails that, truth be told, I ride as often as I floss after lunch. Not because it's bad, but it just never clicked for me. Like socks with sandals, or wearing a winter coat with shorts. It's kinda crazy. Now, because I've ghosted this section more than my gym membership, I'm sure that I'll miss a few lines and features along the way. So part of today's ride is to scout some of these trails. And who knows, maybe riding it with my new bike will change my tune. Maybe it's like rewatching a movie you hated for the first time, only to realize that you weren't in the mood because you forgot to bring your goobers or peanut M&Ms, the family size, of course. And speaking of new bikes, yep, let's open that can of worms. I want to share my thoughts and opinions on some of the more controversial topics. You got your alloy fans and your carbon crusaders, your hardtail heroes and your full-squish fanatics, short travel purists and long travel lunatics, Shimano samurais and SRAM soldiers. Honestly, it's like a medieval jousting match out there, but instead of lances, everybody's armed with internet comments, and I got my own too. Now, I've seen plenty of other riders weigh in on what setup works best for them, and some of them ride the exact same trails I do. And to be honest, their opinions hit me like a wet sponge. Surprising, a little annoying, but ultimately harmless. And you know what they say about opinions? Everybody's got one, like belly buttons, or the other less YouTube-friendly body part that I won't mention here. But before I start dropping my hot takes like a taco truck at a bike park, quick reminder, if you haven't checked out my last episode, you really should. The crew and I took a trip to Powder Ridge, the first time for most of us, and it was a spicy little ride. I'll slap a link on the top corner and also at the end of this video. Don't worry, I got you covered. Now for the longtime followers of this channel, yes, all you scouters, you know who you are, you beautiful people, you. You remember I was riding a nook-proof hardtail like it was the trusty steed in the spaghetti western. That bike was the one and only for me for 3 years. I gave it some love over time. A dropper post with a buttery smooth lever, a P&W handlebar, a beefy 160 lyric fork, because why not? And a front Shimano 4-piston brake that could stop a freight train, or at least a really enthusiastic squirrel. That was enough for me. And yes, it was plenty capable. It handled Black Diamond trails, gnarly descents in Mount Creek and Thunder Mountain, and even rocky madness of the Massanutten like a champ. I got to know the feel of the alloy hardtail, the way the barista knows their favorite roast, intimately and sometimes with a few burns along the way. I also had a chance to swing a leg over a Norco Optic, I think it was a 2023 model, and a Santa Cruz Hightower from either 2022 or 2021. These bikes felt different compared to my old Scout. Unlike the rash I got in this ride, never mind that. The bikes felt smooth, plush, and fancy enough for me. So, let's dive into the big debate. Grab a popcorn, maybe some gummies, a helmet, because this might get bumpy. We'll start with the obvious one, hardtail versus full suspension. Let's kick things off with the old faithful hardtail, named quite literally because, well, it's hard on the tail. No real suspension unless you count your legs, and depending on how rocky the terrain is, your bones are going to feel it. Green and blue trails, absolutely butter for a hardtail. Black diamonds, yeah, you could ride them, but depending on how technical they are, you might need skills like Jeff Kendallweed or Van Cam. Then you have no problem. Otherwise, prepare to pop 2 Advils for aches and pains and take a nap in the car after the ride. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not here to start a suspension war. Hardtails do have a place in any riding stable. Saying one bike is better than the other one is like saying a spoon is better than a fork. It all depends if you're eating soup or spaghetti. Anyone saying otherwise is probably squinting at a trail like a one-eyed pirate with a fogged-up monocle. Now that being said, let me be honest. After a few rough rides, especially the ones with jumps, my body sends a strong worded letter of appreciation to my full-squish setup. Since I started riding my full suspension, it's like my bones finally forgave me for years of trail abuse. Riding Mountain Creek on a hardtail is like bringing a pogo stick to a motocross track. Possible? Yes. Smart? Questionable. but I do sometimes miss the raw, connected feel of the trail under the hardtail. Alright, next spicy topic, alloyed versus carbon. This one is a minefield of opinions, and I'm about to tiptoe through it wearing clipless sandals and spandex. My Scout was an alloyed hardtail, while my Stumpjumper Evo, affectionately called Blue Squishy, is a carbon beauty. Now you might be wondering, does it ride different? Yes, to me and to a whole bunch of other riders who happily swear by it. And sure, some of that smoothness can be chalked up to the full suspension, but let's not downplay carbon. It does have a silkier feel as you ride. Riding alloy is like driving a go-kart over cobblestones. Carbon's more like gliding in a Range Rover over a freshly paved road with noise-canceling tires and a smug grin. Now onto the durability debate. Some say alloyed can take more knocks than a quarterback whose defensive line doesn't like him. Others love how carbon looks like it was sculpted by Michelangelo himself. I'll be honest, I do worry about riding my bike like a bull in a china shop, since I usually crash with the grace of a sack of potatoes, and carbon seems to scratch faster than an itchy cat. Truth be told, pros smash carbon frames harder and more often than I ever will. If it's good enough for them, it's probably overkill for me. Plus, those clean carbon lines can almost compare to a sunset of a Whistler, so I've been told. Now let's dive into the great suspension debate, short travel versus long travel, aka underbiked versus overbiked. The eternal question, how much squish is too much squish? Is 160 the magic number or just a one-way ticket to overkill? Some of my riding buddies live by the motto, more is better. Like they're prepping to drop into Rampage every weekend. And hey, that works. It's like bringing an armored tank to a pillow fight. Sure, it might be overkill, but you're gonna win and you're gonna have fun doing it. Personally, I think it's all about preference. Ride what gives you the confidence to send it without puckering up like you just ate a lemon. Or as millennials might say, you do you, boo. Alright, last hot potato, Shimano versus SRAM. My Scout was rocking 2-piston Shimano brakes with 180 rotors. Good old reliable, like a dependable golden retriever. I did upgrade the front to 4 pistons for extra bite. In the drivetrain, Shimano 1x11. Solid, no drama, no weird noises, just worked. Now Blue Squishy is a different story. It came with SRAM's Fancy Pants Type T electronic drivetrain, code 4-piston brakes with 200mm rotors. Yeah, it's not really a fair fight. Shimano, like a Corolla, reliable, practical, gets you where you need to go. SRAM, that's the Camaro, loud, powerful, and ready to make your face off at full speed. Over 3 years with the Scout, Shimano never let me down. But hopping on the SRAM feels like I've upgraded from dial-up connection to fiber internet. I think I just dated myself. Anyway, it's smooth, precise, and flashy enough to make other bikes jealous. So what's the real takeaway? Ride what makes you happy. Whether it's carbon or alloy, short travel or long, Shimano or SRAM, it's your bike, your ride, your joy. Don't let the internet or anyone else tell you what you should ride or not ride, or what you should feel beneath your tires, unless it's Remy or Blake or Seth or Dale or Dangerous Dave. Anyway, alright, that's a wrap for today. If you found this even mildly entertaining or helpful, or if you just like bike banter, hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next ride. In the meantime, stay loamy, sweaty, and caffeinated, my friends.